there.
Hi.
Dave Pretanzer from Awards Buzz. How are you guys doing today?
Good, how are
Good.
you?
Good. How much do you pay attention to what's happening in the present day of this show, and how does that affect your performances?
Do you want me to-
Yeah, you go for
I
it.
think for me personally, I always find that we're mirroring each other, so it's kind of crucial to kind of pay attention to it, but I don't get too in my head because I think you can look too far ahead and know
Yeah.
what's coming. But I think it's a fun dance of knowing what's going on between each timeline to make sure that they merge together.
Yeah, I force myself only to like read it one time just to like make sure that I know what's going on, and then I try and pretend that I forget everything that happens so that when it comes out I can watch it like a viewer, because it's like we know our timeline so well, so it's
Yeah.
kind of nice to watch something as fresh as humanly possible. But you have to read it because there's just too much that correlates. Yeah, you're right.
Steven, you have the next question.
Sure thing. What aspect of your character did you enjoy portraying most that wasn't there in the first season or that became more developed as this series went on?
Well, Travis became like maybe less misogynistic over time, so that was interesting. Things changed for him a little bit. I think he just like was around people and you know
His place.
he was put in his place real quick. So I think that was kind of a really interesting shift to be a part of.
I think with Lottie, maybe that she started as a wallflower and then now she has this responsibility bestowed upon her, even though she isn't the antler queen anymore. I think there's still this energy of looking to her for reassurance. So that's an interesting and tough thing to play with.
Yeah.
Days, next question.
Hi, I'm Days with Inverse. Thank you so much for making time to speak with us, and I especially want to thank Kevin because my New Year's resolution this year is to interview somebody from Degrassi. So achieved.
Fab season 12, baby.
So I know I've seen the first couple episodes, so I know there's a reason why you two are paired together for this conversation. What's the dynamic between Lottie and Travis this season?
Oh, it's a tough one.
Dynamic. I think there's you know, this essential need that Travis has to like want to feel included in something, and Travis's is like Lottie is Travis's only lifeline left in the group in many ways. So there's an attachment there that is hard for him to, you know,
Let go of.
Yeah.
I think they've also both found themselves on the outskirts of the team slightly, or just watches more, and I think that Travis, as much as he doesn't show it, is very in tune with his emotions and how he feels, and I think also Lottie is definitely very in tune with that. But I think there's some guilt that she feels towards Harvey and like the words that she said that might have led them in the direction that they went. But yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, it feels weirdly codependent at the beginning of the
And then it
season.
shifts.
And
It makes a big
Yeah, there's a
shift.
huge shift. So that's really interesting.
Thank you.
Gig, your question?
Hi. Yes. You know, I love the dynamics of being in the middle of the wilderness. But when the cameras are off, I want to know is for the both of you, what is it like for as roughing it for the actors? I mean, what's on the craft table out there?
I mean, I love being on location. I think this season was one of my favorites to shoot, and I think because, one, we burnt down the cabin and everyone was happy about that.
Not stuck.
Two, I think the set and the wilderness plays its own type of character, especially when we're playing, we have scenes at night.
Yeah.
There just becomes a haunting aspect to it that I don't think you could get on stage. But do we all go slightly insane out there? Yes.
Absolutely. We lose it a little bit, but I also choose being on location any day. There's something real when you can actually walk through and see everything while you're actually shooting it.
Nearby.
Versus it being later. So I would choose on location any day.
Thank you very much.
Jazzy, your question?
Couldn't unmute. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Jazz. I'm from the Antler Queens podcast.
Oh, cool.
Huge fan of both of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Both Travis and Lottie have suffered an incredible amount of trauma in a very short period of time. Does having to access those emotions to play such traumatized characters have any effect on your mental health? And how do you let go of the grim subject matter of the show at the end of the day? How do you leave the wilderness?
You know, it's interesting. I think the cast do a good job at supporting each other and kind of giving everything we need in scenes. And I've gotten better as the years have gone that I can disconnect, but I think by the end of the 6 months, I have some baggage that I didn't know I was carrying along the way of filming. But yeah.
I've just, ever since season 1, because I think I knew going into the season that Travis was going to deal with so much loss, I think I've just like built up my walls around him and like kind of put him in his box like every time I leave. Like I've worked pretty hard to like make sure that it doesn't feel any sort of part of my life, but it's tough. Like it got really tough at the end of season 2 when it was with Luciano and Javi. Like I can't even deny that. Like I got chills. Like it's just that was really hard to be in a situation where, you know, I'm back looking at the monitor with his mom and dealing with that. Like that.
Well, your brain doesn't know how to like tell the difference between things, and I think that's the hard part, that everyone has been cast so well and so like to the core like their characters. So Lottie is always slightly with me because I think I just half am her.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Abe, back to you.
With the cast this large, there are so many fantastic people that you haven't had a chance to work with yet. Barring something like time travel or dream sequence where you shouldn't be able to be in the same place, who are you still hoping to work with from your same time period?
Oh, from our same time period.
Who haven't I? Yeah.
Who have you know?
I haven't really worked. I actually haven't really worked with Misty and Mari very much at all. Like I haven't. Yeah.
Lottie hasn't had much to do with Mari, but she's dipped her toe in every other, stuck her nose and everything else.
Yeah, no, I think Alexa, that would be
Alexa
a
would be
fun
an
situation.
interesting one,
Yeah.
especially because we look similar.
Yeah, you guys.
Or you could be like, find out that we're sisters.
Thank you.
Steven? Sorry, you're muted.
Yes, sorry about that. If you were to face a similar situation in the wilderness, what would your greatest contribution be to the group?
Ooh. I think my greatest contribution would probably be that I'm I don't know, I'd probably have a meltdown and that would not be helpful. But I am intuitive, and like once I know something needs to be done, you can send me off on my own and I'll get it done.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'd be able to like do the things that people don't want to do.
Mm-hmm. I feel like my slight director control freak side would come out in a situation like that, and I would just like want to make sure everything's happening all the time. Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, I need us to survive. I don't know. I think I'd lose my mind. I wouldn't be super helpful. Yeah.
Gig, your question?
Yes, for the both of you, do you follow fan theories out there, and what fan theories that you enjoy the most?
I used to read a lot of Reddit in the first season.
Yeah.
And then I think with the success of the first season, I know I've talked to a lot of our castmates about this, that it started getting into our heads of like, oh, maybe the character go this way, and like, but what if it doesn't, and we don't want to disappoint people. So now I try to veer clear of it, but I get tagged in things all the time that I got tagged in an incredible map that was the symbol, but it just explained everything. Like, I was like, oh, this has to be, right?
This is real.
I have to show about Ashley and see if it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of just always knew like that Travis's direction was really complicated, and so I tried pretty hard to stay away from theories really early on, because I know it can I think it just like affects you as an actor sometimes to like know what everyone wants you to do, or what they want it to be.
What they think they want.
Yes.
Too.
And it's like that idea, like they only know what they can know, and so I try to avoid them, but some of them are just too funny.
Mm-hmm.
So they pop up on my timeline.
Well said. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jazzy, your question?
Thank you. So Lottie's no longer the leader this season, but she still has a lot of power over the entire group, including Natalie. What does Lottie envision her role within the group now, and will she continue to grasp for power, or is she satisfied to allow Natalie to be the leader?
That's a well-layered question. I think it's interesting because season 1 and 2, you see this hunger for power, but I think really it was for connection to something and not really being in charge of the group and people's lives, because I think Lottie doesn't even trust herself, so she often thinks, why would everyone else, why should people trust me if I can't trust myself? And so I think we see at the end of season 2 her really try to palm that off because of some of the pain that she's caused. But I think going into season 3, when I was talking to Bart and Ashley about it, is that whether she likes it or not, I think Lottie plays more of like the Pope role. That it's like church and state. That whether she likes it, people are gonna come back to her, and she's almost been deified, which I think she struggles with. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.